Now, what's OWASP Top 10? OWASP Top 10 is a list of top 10 most commonly found critical vulnerabilities which are found in the web app applications. Okay. This OWASP is a non-profit organization which is basically researching like what all vulnerabilities are most critical and common, and it's releasing the list of top 10 most common and critical issues. Along with this, the OWASP is also like releasing a lot of guidelines like how the softwares can be made better. Okay, so like what's the main aim of OWASP? So the main aim of this OWASP organization is to basically help software developers and those who are associated with the cybersecurity or with the related fields. They should know like what are the common issues so that they can correct their web applications or APIs or the mobile applications. All right. Now the first weakness which we saw in OWASP 10 was basically broken access control. Right. So this was broken access control. Then the second problem which we saw, this was cryptographic failure. Okay. Then we are having injection. All right. So firstly, we will be knowing about injection vulnerability. Now, what is the meaning of injection vulnerability and what does the term injection specifies? Injection means to inject something, to insert something, right? So, like to insert something is basically the injection where we are injecting something. Now, this injection vulnerability is a big category where we have a lot of types of injection attacks. We have SQL injection, we have OS command injection, we have LDAP injection, we have HTML injection, we have XXE, which is XML external entity injection, we have XSS, which is cross site scripting attack. Okay, so these are some of the commonly found injection vulnerabilities, right? These days, even no SQL injection vulnerability is also rising. So, for these sessions, we shall be mainly focusing on to SQLi, OS command injection, HTML injection, and XSS. All right. Now, firstly, let us know about what is SQL injection. Now, in SQL injection, what's happening? Let's say we are having any web application. In the web application, we have a lot of input fields. Now, what are the input fields? Input fields, or you can say it as entry points. They are the places from where we can come inside the application. Let's say if I have the application, here I am having a URL search bar. Okay. Now, for example, we have an image. We have the option to like the image. We have the option to unlike the image. Right. Now we have a form. In the form, we can fill up our details, our contact number, our name, email ID, and then the submit button. Along with this, onto this application, there are a lot of buttons. There are means a lot of elements from where you are interacting. You are logging in. You are signing up, so the places with the help of which you are able to interact with the web application, whether it's a URL section or it's or like there are the any like button, comment section, uh, or if you have any feedback section or about us, or you have any chat bot. So all these are the entry points. Okay, all right. So now if I will take you to a live website and then I'll show you. Okay. So we are coming to this web application. It is testfire.net. Now, if I'll just tell you like what all are the endpoints or the entry points in this application. You have the username field, right? Just a second. Yeah. So this is entry point one. Okay. This is entry point number two. This is entry point number three. Okay. Now, if I will come here, let's say, okay, now let's say we have contact us page, right? Now, if I'll come down, this will take me to the online form, right? So they are all entry points. This is entry point, entry point, entry point, entry point. So all these are the entry points. They are the places from where we are able to enter something in the web application and we are interacting. Okay. All right. Now, if I will give you all one web app, you have to tell me like what all are the entry points. Fine. So, you just take this. Let's take some different website. For example, let me take you to certifiedhacker.com. This is the web app. Okay. Now, what all are the entry points in this web application? Can you all just tell me? You all can just explore this application. I am just giving it to you. See, we have this search bar as first entry point, right? We have let's say if I'll come to recipes, this is how this page is looking like. So here we have no entry point. If I will come to menu, so here if I will just click on to let's say tandoori style chicken, for example, now we have this menu card, but we don't have any entry point right now. So let's click on to some different item. Now let's click here. So you have to search for the entry points, right? You can just see we have got one entry point, B, two, three, four. Then if I come to about us, okay, yes, yeah. So entry points are the entry point. Yes, they are the places from where you can come inside the web application. Got it? So now if I will come to my home, I'll come to home, recipes. Okay, fine. Find out more. And let's see. So these are the entry points. Now, see, now manually checking each and every endpoint will take a lot of time, right? So that's why like we are using Burp Suite. It is one of the tool with help of which it's easier for us to understand the endpoints. Okay, all right. Now, so like what's the injection vulnerability? In the injection vulnerability, an attacker is basically injecting malicious payloads inside the entry points. And why he is injecting? So there are mainly three reasons. One is to steal the information. Okay. Second is maybe he wants to damage the data, or maybe he want to like delete the entire data. All right. So you can just say like the impact onto confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Got it. Till here, anybody having any doubts, questions, please ask. And we were basically seeing what all are the entry points in the web application from where a hacker can come inside the system. So here we have seen the entry points. All right. Okay. Now, see, just like this, we have now. Can you see we have a lot of directories also? So manually, if I'm just clicking, this is taking time, right? With the help of data search and go buster, we can easily list out all the directories too. Okay. Now, now see. Now, if I will talk about SQL injection. Now, in SQL injection, what's happening? In SQL injection, a hacker is basically trying to inject SQL payloads, SQL based payloads inside the input fields of the web application. Now, this SQL injection can be performed only onto those sites which are using SQL for their database. Whenever we talk about any web application, there are mainly three components. The first is the front end, then we have the logical layer, and then we have the backend. So in the backend, we have the database where all the information is stored. So SQL is a language which is helpful in communicating with the database about the information. Like let's say if we are entering the record, removing the record, deleting the record, then SQL is helpful for those purposes. We can just see about SQL, and when we will be going into the depth of SQL injection, even I will be explaining you the basics of it. All right. Now, Okay, now for example, if I have a web application and I am basically using the database, which is using SQL for storing the data, and for the backend language, PHP is being used. Front end is made up onto HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, see, now if I am trying to, now let's say if I have not used proper secure coding practices while creating the application, now it is possible that my site is vulnerable to SQL injection. So now what is the impact of SQL injection vulnerability onto any website? So now whenever you will be learning about the impact of any vulnerability, okay? You always keep in your mind like what is the impact on confidentiality, what is the impact on integrity, and what is the impact on availability, right? So if the site is vulnerable to SQLi, then entire database can be with hacker, because let's say a hacker has hacked the entire database. He can see information of every user. Moreover, he can do manipulation in the data. He can even delete entire data. So this is the impact on confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. All right. Fine. So I am now giving you all one simple task for now. On to this website. Firstly, I will give you an easy website. Onto this website, you just try to search for the entry points. So in the chat, I'm giving you all. You have to search for all the entry points. Then you have to search for all the directories. Okay, using their search directories, you have to search. So this is your task for now. Once it's done, you please tell me. Then we shall be seeing like how to spot vulnerability onto this particular application. Okay. So you all can kindly proceed with it, and I'm here only. If stuck, just raise your hand or ping me. Please tell me. It is simple. You all have to search what all are the directories and entry points in this web application. That's it. Okay, so somebody is saying five entry points. Let's see. One, two, three. Now browse categories. We have nothing. Nothing. Sign up. Four, five. Your profile or guest book. Six. Ajax demo. So this is nothing. Now see, so here to log into this, here let me go to sign up. To log into this, can you see? By default, username and password is what? Test. Okay. So now I'm giving test and test, login. Now see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 plus 5, 11. We have 11 entry points here. Okay. Because here, like we can enter something, right? And we can even update it. So now this is the username. You can give your name also, and this will be reflected here. Okay. Now see, directories are basically the endpoints. We call directory as endpoints. Userinfo.php is one directory. User cart.php is second directory. Right. We have different directories. Okay. Now here we have an extension Vapalizer. With the help of Vapalizer, we can understand like what technologies have been used in creation of the site. All right. There are a lot of ways by which we can understand that. Now here, since we have seen that PHP is used as the server-side scripting language, so we are assuming that maybe SQL database is used. Now what will you do? You'll just go to sign up. Here in the username, we will first be giving a single inverted comma. Now the single inverted comma same in the password. Now if I am pressing enter, so nothing happened. Okay. if I'll just show you here, SQLi payloads. See, see everybody, here I have one more extension also installed in my laptop, that is Hack Tools. And here we have a lot of payloads. Can you see? So we have a lot of payloads. Now from here also I can choose a payload to basically yeah, so these authentication. Now let's say this is what I'm taking. So here I am assuming, see now why I am trying this payload, because now let's say we don't know what's the username and what's the password. So these random payloads I am inserting. Can you see we have got this? You have an error in your SQL syntax. So we have understood that SQL database is being used. MySQL server version for the right syntax to use near this and pass admin or this. Now I have understood that here the database is the MySQL one. And this could be vulnerable to SQL injection. Now see, here we are getting an error. Now if I'll talk about types of SQL injection, we have mainly three categories of SQL injection. So SQLi is broadly classified into three categories. We have in-band, we have out-of-band, and we have blind SQL injection. Okay. Now in band we have two types. One is error-based, second is union-based. Okay. Now in blind we have time-based. All right. Now yeah, and we have boolean-based. So you can see that broadly classifying we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have five types of SQL injection. Error based, union, out of band, time based, and boolean. Okay. Now, like what is error based SQL injection? Error based SQL injection means now let's say if there is any application and you are inserting the malicious payload. Now, if the payload is executed at the backend and you are seeing the error like this means this is error based SQL injection. Okay. Now, this is error based SQL injection. All right, because we are seeing the error directly. Now, if a site is vulnerable to error-based SQL injection, we will be trying for union-based also. And now let's see if we are unable to find information, then we will keep on trying like what type of SQL injection weakness could be there in the application. All right. Okay. Now you all just see here. Now I'm going back. See. Now let me just give this payload. See, now the payload which I am going to give is a generic payload. Okay. This is or this one equal to 1 minus minus. And the same payload is in the password. Now you all see how it's working. Before going deeper into this, those who don't know about SQL, please raise your hands so that I can brief that part as well. Those who do not know what is SQL and why it's used. Okay. All right. Fine. Just a second. All right. Now, SQL program is okay. Mm, so now, everybody of you, like you all, please open this. Okay. Now, see, listen to me very carefully. Now, what is this SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. let me take you to my whiteboard as well so that you can understand properly. And let me make pen size very big. So we are seeing SQL. Okay. So SQL is what? It is structured query language. Now, why we require SQL? We require SQL because it is very simple to understand, and with the help of SQL we can store data inside the tables. We can create tables, we can delete the tables, we can alter the tables. So it is a language which is, number one, easy to understand, uh, and like with the help of SQL we can easily talk to a database. Fine. Now here if I'll just show you the more characteristics of SQL language, you all just see here. I am opening a new tab. See, SQL language. Can you see? So SQL is a programming language for storing and processing the informational in relational database. Now, what is a relational database? Relational database means when the information is getting stored in the form of rows and columns. When your information is stored in the form of tables, there we see it as a relational database. All right. Now, if you will see here, mainly classifying and mainly dividing, SQL is basically divided into three type of languages. Okay, four type of languages. We have DDL, we have DML, we have DCL, and we have I guess, yeah, DCL. Okay, so this is data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language, and I guess it's transaction control language. If you will see here, yeah. Now let's say SQL, DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. Can you see? So these are the languages in SQL. DDL, DQL, DML, DCL, and TCL. Now if I'll just show you, this DDL is data definition language, like I told you. DML is data manipulation language. DCL is data control language, and TCL is transaction control language. Okay, so you all can just see. Okay, so now I will explain you these things. Let me see the full form of TCL. If I am not wrong, it's transaction control language. Yeah, so I'm correct. It's transaction control language. All right. Now you just see. Now what is this DDL? Whenever you have to make structure of a table. Okay. So what is a table? Can anyone just tell me what's a table? If I will ask you what is a table, what will you tell me? Rows and columns? Okay. All right. So this table, when we hear of tables, we imagine like the collection of rows and columns. So now, for example, now I'm making a table. Let's say this is shopping table. Okay. This is shopping cart. Now in this shopping cart, you have product ID. Okay. You have the item name. You have the price. All right. Now product ID, let's say 1. Item name, let's say this is serum. Then price, for example, it is 600. Okay. Now second item, let's say this is Nivea lotion. Now the price is, let's say, 800. Now we have third is Cetaphil soap, and then now it's, let's say, 300. Now for example we have Lay's and price is 20. So we have these items in the table. Now you all tell me, in this table how many rows and how many columns are there? Yeah, who will tell me number of rows and columns in this table? Yes. Okay, somebody said 3 columns. Okay, somebody said 4 columns and 3 rows. Okay, see. Columns are the vertical ones. Okay, so we have product ID as one column, item is second column, and price is third column. Rows are the horizontal ones. So these are the rows. All right. So we have four rows and we have three columns. All right. So we have four rows and three columns. Whenever I talk about data definition language, in data definition language, we talk about structure of the table. In the table, how many columns will be there? Now you all just tell me if I have this table. Now what things are defining the structure? Column names, right? Because rows can be more or less, but columns here are fixed, correct? So number of columns, they are defining the structure of the table. Second is the type of data which needs to be inserted. Like product ID has to be number always, item name should be a name always, price should be in numbers, price can never be in alphabets, right? So in DDL we talk about the structure of the table. When we talk of DML, DML is data manipulation language, and this DML is defining the data which is inside the table. So inside this table, we have what's the data? These four rows are the data. Okay. All right. Now, so DDL and DML, DDL is for structure and DML is for the data inside the table. Got it? Now I am taking you all to the screen itself. So for now, the basic knowledge of DDL and DML is what you need to know. Now see, now when we create a table, we use many keywords. See, whenever we create, we use create keyword. Whenever we want to delete the full table, we are using drop. If you need to add some more column or remove some more column, we are using alter. If you need to truncate, means removing all the data but structure should be remain, then we are using truncate. Then we have rename, and this rename will be uh, renaming the table. So we have, now if I talk about DML, we have insert the table, insert the value, update the value, delete the value, select the value. Now see how a table is created. So create command is used to create the new table in the database. So create table, table name, column name, data types. So let's say this is the command to make a table. Now we are coming here. Now I am just running it. Create table. Now for example, we were making shopping cart, right? So it is a shopping cart. In this shopping cart, we have firstly, okay, we need to have product ID. So let's say it's product ID and it is basically the integer. All right. We have a product ID, then we have a name, then we don't need email. We basically need what we need now. We need price. Price can be float value also. Float will be accepting decimal values too. Now I am just running. Can you see? Table is successfully created. Now where can you see the table? Come down. Can you see? Shopping cart. Table is created. Fine. Now if you need to make it the comment, give minus minus in front of it. Now I am inserting the rows. Okay. So now let's come here. Now let's come down, come down. So I'm just showing you in the easiest way so that you all can just go through by yourself and you can understand. So the commands are very simple. Now can you see if you need to insert something, you need to give insert into table name and then the values. Okay. So now if I'll just come here just to insert into table name is what? Shopping cart. Values. Okay. Give the value 1. Let's say product. What was the first product? It was basically serum, right? So serum and price was 600. Now let me run it. Can you see? Serum is added. Okay. Now if I need to add more items. I can just write it again. Yeah, now let's say it's 2, and 2, for example, this was, let's say, shampoo, and the price is, let's say, 400. Now run it. Can you see? So this is how we are inserting the data inside the tables. All right. If you need to delete something from the table, you can do that. So we have a lot of operations. We have a lot of operations which you can try performing into it. Now we have a command that is select. With the help of select keyword, we are able to view the data which is stored inside the table. Now let me make it the comment. Now I'm just typing select star from shopping cart. Okay. Now if I will just run it, can you see in the output we are seeing the data of the table. All right. Now if I will now let's say if I want to see only information of the product where price is 600. What can I do? Select star from shopping cart where. So it's very, very simple. You're going to see price equal to 600. Okay. Now run. Can you see? Now it's showing information of that product where the price is 600. Okay. Till here, any doubts, please ask. Okay. And those who don't know even 1% of SQL, have you got at least a basic idea? Like what is SQL? Yeah, please tell me, everyone. Can I expect some responses if you all are listening to this session? Okay, all right, that's great. Now, um, yes, correct. Okay, now you all just see. Now, for example, if I am a bad hacker, okay, now, what is the guarantee that I will be like entering only name in the name field? If I am now, let's say, if you don't know me, now let's say if I'm a bad person and you are giving me a form. Now, what's the guarantee that I will be giving the correct values only in the form? I can even give something which will destroy the logic and will give me result of every person. So this is what happens in SQL injection. Got it? Here I am just telling, show me the information of that particular product and everything where the price is 600. Now, if I'm just giving where the price is this single inverted comma. Now I am running this. Now this is giving an error. So after seeing the error, I understood that here SQL is being used. Now here, if I'm just giving where price or where price equal to, now let's say 6 or 1 equal to 1 minus minus. Okay. Now you all just see. Now here, like let's say in place of price, for example, here I'm just giving where name equal to shampoo. Okay. And now it's or 1 equal to 1 minus minus. Okay. All right. Now here if I am just running, now can you see? Okay. So now let's see if I am just removing it and I am running it. Now have you understood like what's the problem in this? Now let's say here I'm giving sham. Okay. So is there any product with the name Sham? Yes or no? Tell me. Now inside my this table which I have created, I have two products. One is serum, second is shampoo. Right? Now here, like what I am giving? I am giving where name equal to Sham. And it is showing me all the information. Why? This is giving me, yes. So this is giving me all the information because I am telling or 1 equal to 1 and then comment. So 1 is always equal to 1, right? So it's a universally true statement. And now rest of the things I am making as comment. Okay. So now you all just see now here this because of this problem, this small problem, I am able to see entire database. Now let's see if this is a banking website where there is information of a lot of people, their account number, their customer IDs, like whatsoever investments they are having. If let's say this information I being a bad person is able to see, then it's a big threat to the people, and it's a very wrong for the reputation of the bank. Okay, because there is no name of the product with the name Sham. But since I have given this or 1 equal to 1 minus minus, now we are able to see the information. Got it? Now let's come to the website. So now you're asking why this is happening. Okay. This is happening because see, here if you will learn about SQL in a bit more depth. Okay, so now there are a lot of keywords. We have or keyword, we have and keyword, we have not keyword, we have a lot of keywords. Now, what is this or telling? This or is telling if either of these conditions is true, then the data should be displayed, right? So it is asking, like, so now see, first, so now, like, what is happening? All the information from shopping cart is shopping cart is displayed if the name is Sham or 1 is always equal to 1. So now what is true here? Here this is true, right? This is true because of which we are able to see all the information. Okay. Now if I'll give you an example, you just say select. Now for example, I have a map. Okay, like I have a table of map. Now I'm just giving a query. Select star from map. Just a second. Yeah. Now let's say if I'm giving this query, select star from map where continent is equal to Asia and country is equal to humid. No, if I'm giving or country is equal to humid, there are a lot of countries in the Asia which are humid. For example, we have Malaysia, we have Singapore, we have Philippines. So all these things will be coming up. Now, if I'm telling select all the information from maps where country where continent is equal to Asia and GDP is this much. Now this will be checking both the factors. Country is Asia and GDP is this much. So or is if any of the one statement is true and is if both the statements has to be true. If I will give or here, if I will give or here, sorry, if I give and here and. Now if I will run, can you see? However, the result is empty because there is nothing where the name is Sham and 1 equal to 1. Since it is always true, we have given it as or because either of the statement is true and we are seeing the results. Have you understood now? Like what's happening? Okay. All right. Now, see, since I took you to this page, now let's come to sign in. Now, here in the username field, I am giving or 1 equal to 1 minus minus. So, the same payload I have given here, what I have given here. All right. So, this is the same. Now, the same password I am giving. Now I'm just logging in. Can you see? Now I am logged in as the admin user. Okay, because here inside this table there is only one user, and since I have given the payload, now I am able to log in. So now what is the result of SQL injection? Either you can see information of all the users, or you can bypass the authentication. All right, so this was all about from my end for the day. If you all have any questions, you please feel free to ask me.